Hi everyone. So I'm here in Birmingham, England. I'm on a trip to visit some family, and my first stop is actually a little place called Moseley Bog. And well, it's not widely known. The place that it inspired is this is the old stomping grounds of J.R.R. Tolkien, and this is the first of several sites that I'll be seeing today that inspired the Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings epics. And I believe this Moseley Bog is what inspired the Old Forest. The ruins of some kind of structure here. It's not a big park, but a lot of the trails are not marked. So I believe this area behind me is actually part of the bog itself. And the ground is very spongy. There's a short spur trail coming down here, and I wasn't sinking in, but it was not real solid either. Yeah, so it's real tiny, maybe 100 feet from one end to the other. For being in the middle of the city, this feels surprisingly remote. And the forests are very lush and green, and it looks like I'm about to go on an adventure. And yeah, I can still hear traffic and stuff, but and there's houses just off to the right here. But yeah, this is I can see where a young Tolkien would have ran around in here and thinking this was some far off fantasy land. This is really cool. So I believe that is the old oak. And this park is divided into two sections. There's Moseley Bog and Joy's Wood, which is where Joy's Woods, which is where I'm walking into now. A little side trail. I saw these little horn-looking things here, and decided to come up that little side trail. Just led to an open field next to some houses. I just thought that was very Lord of the Rings-ish. So this is Joy's Wood Meadow. There's some cattle dogs trying to herd each other a minute ago. That's kind of neat. So Joy's Wood was named after Joy Pfeiffer, who apparently was instrumental in preserving these meadows and the woods and stuff in this part of the park, so that they wouldn't get developed, and so now everybody can use it. And so far, most of the people I've seen have been people that look to be about retirement age walking their dogs, which is fun. And this part of the park is very different from Moseley Bog, which is literally like 100 yards away. The paths are much more open. There's these occasional meadows. I believe this is damp meadow. Yeah, it's Moseley Bog. Like, you had the boardwalks because it's so muddy over there, but this is just like a regular dirt trail. And yeah, it's surprising how different the two halves of the park are. So I'm not sure what this thing is. And it's a log, but it's carved to almost resemble some sort of like giant caterpillar thing, which would be not completely out of place in a location inspired by Lord of the Rings. So I saw there was a pond listed on the map, and this appears to be it. It's more of a big muck hole. It's kind of overgrown. Still cool looking, but I thought it'd be like more just water, not so much plant life. But still neat. And there are suddenly children screaming in the background, which again, not out of place for Lord of the Rings location. So this is the other side of that bog I was at earlier, and I'm actually on a trail, on a boardwalk, and didn't have to walk through the muck and mud, but so it's just I was on the far side of it. So I called it bog, but apparently the more proper term for this type of terrain is called fen, F-E-N. I've never heard that word before. Alright, so I'm back from Moseley Bog, and the house right across the street there is the house where Tolkien lived as a child until his mother passed away, and then he moved a few miles away from here. But that is one of the childhood homes of J.R.R. Tolkien right there. Okay, so now I'm at Sarah Hole Mill, which is this mill behind me, and this is believed to be the inspiration for locations such as the Shire and Hobbiton in the Hobbit book and Lord of the Rings. So there's this big pond, it's all covered in green, and apparently the mill still does actually mill flour here, and there's a little tea room and gift shop. So yeah, this would have been just like around the corner from where J.R.R. Tolkien lived as a child, and he would have been ramming around here, and something about this place has caught his imagination. Okay, so I'm on the campus of Birmingham University, and at our next stop on the Tolkien Trail, and that is the Joseph Chamberlain Memorial Clock Tower. Said to have inspired the Eye of Sauron in Lord of the Rings, and it's pretty impressive. It's 325 feet tall. Apparently accounts vary as to how tall it actually is, but around the 330 mark, somewhere in that vicinity. The clock face is 17 feet across, something like that. It's an impressive structure, and I can see where Tolkien would have taken this and run with it. So we're at our next stop on the Tolkien Trail. This is Edgbaston Waterworks Tower, and was supposed to have inspired Minas Morgul, home of the Witch King from the Lord of the Rings books. This is one of the two towers, and we'll be seeing the other tower shortly. And unfortunately, it's behind a locked gate, so I won't be getting up close to it. So I turned the corner from the Edgbaston Waterworks Tower to head toward our next destination, Parrott's Folly, which is the other tower, and realized that I can see both of them. So that's the Edgbaston Waterworks, and down in the distance there is Parrott's Folly. So I can see the two towers from Lord of the Rings. It's cool. Let's go check out this other one. Alright, so that tower I was just looking at is called Parrott's Folly, and is literally around the corner from the other tower. So these became the two towers. This one was the inspiration for Ornthanc, the Tower of Saruman the Wizard, the one that was invaded by the Ents at the end of the two towers. And yeah, it's pretty cool. These towers aren't as big as the Chamberlain clock tower. That one was pretty massive. This one is 100 something feet maybe, plus the other one is about the same size. So, but yeah, it's pretty neat looking too. Almost like a really thin castle. So I just got two more quick stops. These stops will be related to events in Tolkien's life, not so much inspirations for anything that he wrote about. Alright, so this building behind me is the oratory at St. Philip's, and after Tolkien's mother died, he came here to live, and the head of the oratory actually became Tolkien's legal guardian, as well as his brother. And he lived here, I believe, through the rest of his schooling. So, I don't know if those are the dorms, or where exactly he would have lived. And the grounds are closed, so I can't walk in there across the street. But this is the outside of it anyway. And I just got one last stop, and it's right across the street. Alright, so I'm at my last stop on the Tolkien tour, and you'll have to excuse the noise. There's a construction site right next door. So this is the Plough and Harrow Hotel, which is now owned by Best Western. But back in 1916, Tolkien spent the night here with his wife, just a day or two before shipping off to France to serve in World War I. And I don't know if you can stay in the same room or not, but this is where he stayed before shipping off. So that'll wrap it up for my little tour of the Tolkien Trail in Birmingham, England. This is pretty cool. I'm not like a massive Tolkien fan, but I like the movies, and I've read the books. So this is pretty neat, seeing the places that inspired him to write it. And with that, I'm gonna head off to my hotel for the night. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.